Hi, everyone. This is the Over Coffee Talk podcast, a space where professionals and people with inspirational stories share their career journey, tips, advice with people that are struggling to find a job. And I'm your host, Latifa Toike. Before we start, um, I'd like to thank everyone for showing their support to a pilot episode of the podcast. It really means a lot since this podcast was designed to help individuals that are struggling on their career journey, that are struggling with job search. And I wanted to make this podcast as helpful and motivating as possible because I myself was once unemployed, and I know how depressing and stressful it can be. And but I hope that this podcast will motivate you and inspire you to continue on your journey and to understand that to realize that everybody has their own timeline and that you will get there as long as you keep perceiving, as long as you keep going for it, you will get there. So today we have Adrian Pignon as our guest speaker, a really self-taught social media strategist, and a guy who went viral with Interview Me Sign. Please welcome Adrian Pignon.
Thank you, Latifa. What an awesome opening. Yes, I like the fact that you say you just keep going and don't give up, and I really like that. So that's good. Yeah,
Thank
thanks for
you.
having me.
Yeah, sure. So, can you tell me how did you come up with this idea with the Interview Me sign?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for those of you who are unaware, I pretty much drove to Silicon Valley and held up a sign that said "Interview me, please" in front of like a ton of tech headquarters like Meta and LinkedIn and just a ton of places. And I shared my story on LinkedIn and shared the photo, and it blew up. I was covered on local television all over the place, and uh, it really changed
ABC
my
10,
life.
right?
And uh, yeah, ABC 10, Good Day Sacramento, Univision 19, which is like a Spanish television. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
other places were sharing my content, and it was amazing. The way I came up with that idea was uh, I was finding myself in San Francisco a lot, and I love technology, and it just hit me like God just gave me this message and said, "Hey, like you're graduating soon, you want to work for these tech headquarters, but there's a lot of competition, and you have to do something to stand out."
Yeah.
So yeah, I drove up there with a sign, and the rest is history.
That's a really dedication, you just went for it. And why did you decide to start with Meta?
Yeah, so Meta, Facebook, that's like my dream company, and like it's really exciting that they were like one of the first really popular social media platforms, and they still are, and they control like a lot of the space, and they're one of the best companies in the world, and I feel like I'm one of the best employees or one of the best people in the world. So it's like I just thought that would be like a perfect marriage. And I was like, I saw the movie The Social Network, and I thought that was like the
Oh
coolest
yeah, yeah,
movie
yeah.
ever.
Love it.
So
Love this
uh,
movie.
yeah, it's a great movie. So like when I saw it, I was like, yo, Facebook would be awesome. So yeah, I grew up and I was like, yo, Facebook would be great. So I went to Meta and uh, yeah.
And how did companies react? How Meta reacted and other companies when saw you with the sign, Interview Me, please.
Yeah, so the reactions were amazing. Most of them were positive. Some of them were negative, but that's okay. Uh, so I did interview with Meta. I did interview with Snapchat. I interviewed with LinkedIn and a lot of great companies. And so it was positive. It was positive, and uh, I don't. I think it's very unconventional, a very unconventional way of interviewing. But for a creator or somebody that's super creative and likes social media, like this was the direction that I needed to go to, and they respected that, so it was cool.
Did you expect that you will that it will go viral?
I knew it was gonna go viral from the start. Yeah, like nobody else was doing this. Yeah, like nobody else was doing this, and like I was building up my momentum on social media even
Hmm.
before that. So like I was getting people excited, networking with people, like a snowball effect. And I knew like when I shared this content, like shared a vulnerable part of my life, used perfect hashtags, and edited the photo a little bit, like made it brighter, like more saturation on the image. I knew that it was going to catch attention, and it did.
It definitely did, and I know that Jonathan Javier, covered you on his reel. It was amazing. Um, did he reach out to you directly?
Yeah, Javier's a great guy, awesome person. He reached out to me like even before wanting to like reshare the content. He reached out. He gave me some tips, helped me on the resume, and um, just gave me great advice. And then like a few days later, he was like, "Hey, can I cover this on social?" I was like, "Yes, please. That would be awesome." So, uh, yeah, great guy. He even speak to some people, and yeah, I can't thank him enough.
Yeah, he's definitely like he's amazing. Totally agree because he motivated me on my journey as well. And after you showed up with was the interview me sign, I like you went viral, and that's where you started to have this like different offers from big tech companies like Tesla, Meta, like Oracle. Did you decide what company you will work for?
Yes. Okay. So huge announcement. I haven't shared this to anybody yet, so you're gonna be the first one to hear this. Okay. So a CEO sent me a message, like very early on when that post went viral, and she was like, "Hey, Adrian, we would love to have you on the team. Here, like, I need you to talk to this guy. I need you to apply to this job and cross your fingers on the interview." So I did the interview, did another one, and it went great. So after about four different offers, I talked to my friend and said like, hey, what do you think? Uh, like, where should I go? Like, I have these amazing offers. I don't want to make the wrong decision. And then after like praying for about a week, I made my decision, and I'll be working for Threefold Communications. Pretty much, it's a marketing agency here in Sacramento, and they are awesome. Like, they work on amazing projects, and uh, they value that I'm like a fresh graduate and I'm learning, but I have potential. And uh, yeah, I like the fact that they have like really awesome clients here in Sacramento and even outside of Sacramento. And uh, I'm super excited. I start very, very soon. Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Actually, a friend of mine, she's from Florida, and she wanted to apply to like this company, but she wanted to get more experience first of all. But that's amazing. Yeah, I've heard so many positive feedback comments about this company. That's amazing. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and you make a great point. Like I need to build the experience, and like I think Threefold Communications is an amazing company. Like I did a lot of research on them, and they're great. Uh, and to like move into like a Meta or like a Microsoft or whatever, like you need experience, and I think Threefold would be like a perfect place to build that resume up and that experience and continue to grow in my industry.
Yeah, totally. When did you realize that you want to, to pursue social media as your career?
Yeah, so I used to be a BMX athlete. For those of you who don't know action sports, it's pretty much doing like tricks on bicycles, like going off of ramps and grinding rails and doing like a lot of crazy stunts on bicycles. And uh, it's a very expensive sport.
Hmm.
Like the
Competitive.
parts are not cheap and very, yes, very competitive. Lots of people do that, and uh, I wanted to be sponsored. Like I didn't want to pay for these parts. I didn't want to keep buying clothing or shoes that kept getting messed up or helmets or whatever. So I thought of the idea like, hey, well, if I take videos and photos of me writing and then share them on social media,
Mhm.
somebody's gonna see. Maybe a company will wanna, I don't know, send me a free shirt or whatever.
Mhm.
So, for a very long time, like just became so dedicated in riding my bike and becoming good at it and networking with friends at my skate park and uh, convincing them like, hey, bro, can you please take a photo of me or can you please record me while I'm riding?
Mhm.
And I was just posting that content on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and just using hashtags, seeing what people were doing that was working. So like a lot of pros were doing hashtags and adding a geolocation and editing their footage and adding music to it. So I was doing the same thing, and before you know it, like companies were sending me direct messages saying like, "Hey,
Wow.
Adrian, we love what you're doing. Can we send you some free headphones? Can we send you bike parts and these T-shirts and shoes?" And like every day for like a straight year, my mailbox was full of like free stuff. It was like Christmas for a whole
That's
year.
crazy. Wow. That truly is. And
That's when I knew social media was like a very powerful tool.
oh yeah, yeah. And as like a social media strategist, a self-taught social media strategist, you know, what's your advice for people that, have just, they don't have any strategy yet for their social media platform and for LinkedIn, how they can build a strategy, how they can market themselves on social media, on LinkedIn.
You find something you love to do, something you enjoy to do for free, like something you like to do for
Mhm.
fun. Uh, find your story. Like, who are you? Like, I'm a first generation kid from the Bay Area who then moved to Sacramento, who played a lot of sports and then eventually got into tech. And like you need to find out who you are, and once you do that, then it'll make sharing your stories or sharing your content a lot easier because you know who you are and you know what you like. If you still don't know what that is, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, experiment, have fun, like, go on social media, write something up, share some photos, share some memes, connect with people, talk to them, and you'll figure out like what you want and who you are, and uh, you know, you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it, and um,
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
And what do you think is the best strategy for posting social like posts? Is it better to stay consistent, or is it better to, post it from time to time, but at the same time concentrate like on important topics? Either you, because I know that some people they stay consistent, and for that you need to like to talk about a lot of things. Either people prefer to cover the big topics, or sometimes they mix it up with some small topics with big ones, or it's better to go with from time to time, but at the same time really prepare your post.
Yeah, so I think it depends. I think it depends, but you definitely do have to stay consistent. You you have to stay consistent on social media, and but you also have to strategize like how you're going to approach these marketing campaigns. Like, just because you're consistent doesn't mean you're going to go viral or see success. Like, I'm on TikTok and I see these accounts that post every day and they get like 10 likes and they're consistent. Like, I see LinkedIn accounts and Instagram accounts where they post several times a day and they get no traction. So I think it's a culmination of consistency, strategy, storytelling, and timing. Like, you need to know when people are on social media. You need to know what hashtags or what captions you need to write to make your content successful. And you need to know like how
Mhm.
many posts a day or a week or whatever is the right for you. And uh, I wouldn't just flood the market with content. Like, you need to definitely
Mhm.
strategize social media. But if you're just starting off and you're doing it for fun, just go ahead. Just have fun. It'll
Yeah.
figure itself out.
And what about you? How do you strategize your content?
It just depends, honestly. Like Facebook is a different atmosphere than Twitter or Instagram and LinkedIn as
But
well.
let's say like LinkedIn.
If sorry, go ahead.
Like let's say it's LinkedIn. In that case, how do you like strategize your post on LinkedIn? Because I went, I scrolled all the way down to your like posts, and it's amazing how consistent you stay and how consistent you are with that, and that you really thoughtful with your posts. And so it was like, how do you strategize your content?
So so for me, it's different for everybody else. For me, I knew that my end goal was okay. I'm graduating soon. I need a job. So, and I know when I'm going to graduate. May 20 is when I'm graduating. Well, I already graduated, but May 20 was like my time frame. Like, okay, that's my end goal. I have all these social media platforms. I know a little bit about marketing, so I have this runway until this deadline. So, for the longest time, I was just staying consistent, strategizing, storytelling, and being vulnerable and sharing my story with people, and that's kind of what was my strategy was like, okay, I'm graduating May 20th. That's a hard deadline. I need to land a job. I have all these social media platforms. Like, let me just create content that's compelling, and it's like basically like a snowball effect. Like every time I was posting, and it was something that led to me landing a job. And once you have like that end goal, then you kind of have like a mission. Like you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, like a direction of where you're going, and that's what it was for me.
Yeah, so storytelling and staying consistent, right? And have this, goal that you need to accomplish.
Yes, indeed. Because if you're just posting content, just to post content, you're gonna burn out. Like you're not gonna have a whole lot of fun, and you're like, why am I doing this? So yeah, like if you have an end goal or like a mission or like like the direction you need to go, it's gonna be a lot more fun, and you're gonna know what to do or what creative things to do to get it done.
And you mentioned that you were a first gen, right? So, how, I guess my question is, what challenges you faced as a first gen, and how were you able to overcome them?
Are you first gen or like like are you from here? Like let me know your story real quick.
Kinda. So I'm an international student. I moved to the U.S. when I was 16. I lived by myself. My family, like at that time, was in Kazakhstan. So I am originally from Kazakhstan. So I lived by myself for 2.5 years, and then in Washington State. I went to the community college there. I graduated, got my associate's degree, and then I transferred to a college in New York. So I transferred there, I moved there, and then 1 year later, my sister, she joined me here. She was working at in Czech Republic, Prague. So she moved from there to New Jersey, and we kind of like COVID brought us together, and we moved in together. So it was like what 3.5 years I lived by myself, but then my sister finally joined me, so it was like a great reunion.
Oh, I can imagine that. That's awesome. So everybody has struggle. Everybody has their story, and I guess for me, like where the similarities lie is like I also went to community college. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't know what to do. Like as a first gen, like I didn't know what classes to take, who to talk. Like I couldn't talk to my family about what my classes or like what major requirements are needed, and like like I feel like that really bogged me down. Like it slowed me down, and if I only knew like the process of college earlier on, like I would have been done a long time ago. And but I wouldn't really say like they're challenges. I'd say like they're opportunities. Like it's like the
It's all
opportunity
about perspective.
to be the first in
Yeah.
my family to, yeah, like to be the first in my family to graduate was like it's a huge honor. Like I'll die one day happy like yo, I'm the first in my family to graduate university. Uh, because of God gave me that opportunity. Like it's not a challenge, and like you have to see life like a glass half full versus half empty. And I yeah, life is just opportunities versus challenges. And sure, we can all live happier, better lives, but we have to keep fighting and keep proving to the world and to ourselves that like we're perfect. Like we're perfectly unperfect. Like you came from another country at age 16 to like pursue your dreams, and that's great. And there's a lot of challenges, but you've seen a lot of amazing opportunities. And yeah, like I'm just I try not to be so negative. And uh, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. It's all about perspective and how how you look at the situation. Because again, glass can be half empty or half full, It's either I can look at the situation that, oh, I live by myself, I missed out, like I don't have enough time with my parents and stuff. But then there is another side to it when my parents gave me the opportunity to achieve success, to I went to the college thanks to them, got my associate's degree and then bachelor's. So it's like it's all about perspective, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And yeah, like anybody watching this, like I don't want to sound really rude or anything, but like don't feel sorry for yourself because nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. Like build yourself up, like
Mhm.
surround yourself with positive people, and just know and trust God that like you can get through anything in life. And like just don't ponder on negativity. Like see everything as an opportunity to prove how great you really are because you are great. And yeah, like, so that's what I gotta say.
Yeah, have faith in yourself, because you are the first person that should have faith in yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the biggest failure that you've ever faced?
Biggest failure that I have ever faced. I think I mentioned it earlier on is like being first gen and not having like family or network early on to really help me navigate college early on in life is probably my biggest failure, I would say. But I did manage to graduate, so what I learned through that long process of college and dropping out and going back in, and it was to not give up, to
Mhm.
keep fighting for like what you're passionate about, and just know that it's not just about me, it's or even my family, like it's about my culture and my people and my community. And I couldn't let all those people down by me just walking away from college. Like I had to continue going. And
Mhm.
yeah, I wish I wish I knew about the steps to college and how to graduate earlier on, but here I am, college graduate. So yeah, thank
Yeah,
God
that's
for that.
amazing. What motivated you is your family, is your, willingness to help your community, right? To represent your community. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Sacramento, like that's where I live. Sacramento is the capital of California, and it's an amazing city, but it still has a lot of room for growth. And I love Sacramento so much that like a couple years ago, I created a startup. It was an event promotion app. It was called Town Today, and it was essentially to bring my diverse communities together through events. Because when you go to events, like it's very diverse. There's all sorts of people there. You're just having fun, like just like forgetting about the troubles of life, and that's something I was like super passionate about, and like it was a way of me to give back to my community was through that app.
Yeah, I believe that as a first gen, and overall as as someone who um, you know is of non-privileged background, who has to we have a desire to help our community, and to represent our community in a best light as possible. And that's amazing that that you give back to your community, and that you are able to graduate, and you founded this Town Today app. All this, all thanks to all for this, like you had, because you had this drive to help your community.
It's not about me, it's about we.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, that was corny.
Oh yeah, no, 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 you're good. It's true. It's true. And what's your advice for people that struggling to find a job?
Okay. Number one, fix your resume. If you don't know how to fix it, you
Mhm.
better go on LinkedIn or call your. If you're a college student, you better call your career center and tell them, "Hey, I need my resume fixed." If you don't have a resume, you better go get one started, and they'll help you out.
Yeah, yeah.
Number two, get job experience. I don't care where you're working at, just get some experience. Like I don't care if you work at McDonald's, but McDonald's is one of the biggest corporations in the planet. Like start somewhere and get some
Mhm.
experience. Like don't just want to work at like Apple. You know what I mean? Like just start somewhere. Uh, Build your resume up if you don't have any experience. Uh, Number three, network. Go on social media. Create an
Right.
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Just start creating content and get in front of the camera. Like show the world that you're confident and you're okay with being seen, like your face, and share who you are. Share your stories. Like who cares? Like you gotta do it. And number, whoa, dang, what am I? Number four, apply.
Yeah.
Just apply.
Mhm.
Just apply. Keep applying. Download Indeed, LinkedIn, Monster. Uh, no, I'm forgetting some.
Flex job.
I think
Yeah.
Store. Yeah, Flex. All that stuff. Sure.
Glassdoor. Yeah,
Download
yeah,
all those
yeah.
places. And just
Yeah.
apply. Just I applied to over I think over 300 jobs, and
Wow.
it was insane. Like a lot
Oh
of it
my God, that's
I applied for.
yeah, it is insane.
Yeah, like a lot of them I wasn't qualified for, but I still applied anyways because you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Like if you don't take a shot,
That's true. Exactly,
you're
yeah.
gonna miss anyways. So give it a shot. And if you don't give it a shot, like you live with the what if in your mind, like, oh, what if I did apply? And just apply. So I guess those are the four steps. Oh, and five, I guess trust God and never give up. So
Mhm.
that's the formula. Five. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Rule of five.
Yes, high five through the air, through the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah, virtually. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Adrian, for coming to this podcast, and sharing your story and advice as well as tips with all of us. Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode and let us know what you think about this episode.